Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Silicon Insider podcast. I'm here with our special guest, Scott Budman, and let's get underway. It's been kind of a quiet week, but we got some interesting news. So, first of all, let's talk about Google. Google's story seems to be the biggest one of the week. The stock market's up 300 points today, some of it driven by the news about Google. Now, you and I both remember that when the new FCC chairman was put in place, she seemed to be vowing that she was going to take apart the tech companies. Well, now I'm seeing headlines today that maybe the era of antitrust against tech companies is already over, and all due to the Google decision this week, which was basically the market was afraid Google was going to be broken up on this decision, and instead the court decided that Google should be forced to share a lot of its search information and swap a little money with Apple, and that would take care of this giant concern that's existed of Google being a monopoly for the last 25 years, which it has been. Okay, so what was Google's reaction? It's about time that we recognize that AI has changed the landscape, and the search is being done automatically. And so it isn't necessary for us to be punished. And the market's reaction was Google's not being broken up. So Google got rewarded for not failing completely. And Google stock jumped. Meanwhile, Apple stock jumped because Apple didn't even file charges against Google, but it was done in its name. And it was pleasantly surprised that it's going to get a lot more information on search than it used to. So there we have it. I don't know who loses in this one, the FCC, the American people. Certainly not Google, and certainly not the tech industry, and certainly not all the giant companies that are acting like monopolies like now, from Nvidia to Microsoft to Facebook. Did I get all that right?
Yeah, I mean, remember, Google was found to be a monopoly. That didn't change.
Yeah.
But the punishment, and that was the big worry, it was sort of worry about the rumor and then buy stock on the news. The worry was that they would have to give up Chrome. Chrome is a huge deliverer, not only of search, which is how Google makes its money, but as you mentioned, of AI in the modern era. I think Apple went up because the deal between Google and Apple can remain. And so Apple makes all that money for Google to be the default search engine on the iPhone. So everybody kind of wins after almost a year of waiting to see what would happen since Google was declared a monopoly. And the big answer is practically nothing.
Practically nothing.
Right.
So this seems to set a gigantic, well, it's being said as creating a gigantic precedent that the fear that the federal government would intervene and bust these companies up is never going to happen, or at least not for the near term. And everybody will just get some sort of deal where it's like, yeah, you gotta share some of your monetary gains, some of your profits, some of your customers, but no big deal. Just go back to doing what you were doing and don't do it again. Do I have
Right.
that right?
Right. And that's what I don't know, the current concern about government's relationship with big tech, and you and I have talked about this on recent
Yeah.
shows, government becoming not only an investor in companies like Intel, but a partner in business with chip companies like AMD and Nvidia. The big concern is, will the government have undue influence on tech companies? And I think it works both ways. People might be concerned that the government is also going to go easy on companies. And it really felt like, Google was given some kid glove treatment here. Remember when it was said, oh, Google's a monopoly. the stock price was affected back when the original ruling came down. There's been a lot of worry since then. Will it have to spin off Chrome, its big delivery system? And really, as of today, which is what, 48 hours after the decision that you and I sit here, it
Right.
doesn't feel like anything has changed or will change. And so you're absolutely right. It's kind of business as usual for these guys.
I mean, how big of a precedent is this? I mean, some people are saying the age of antitrust against technology is now over. I think the New York Times said that one. Do you feel the
I,
same way? I mean, it seems like to me every time they go in now, any of these companies are just going to point at the precedent of Google and say, well, you just gave them a slap on the wrist. How come you're talking about breaking us up like old IBM?
that would be very understandable. And I think the concern is that this will continue to go forward because of the cozier than usual relationship between the federal government and these tech giants who are literally doing business together now. So I wonder if right now you're a chip company or something and you're saying, boy, you know what? I think we've got a case against NVIDIA. Well, wait a minute. What's the government going to do? The government has literally a financial stake in NVIDIA chip sales. That's a huge conflict of interest. So do you bring that case against NVIDIA, or do you just shrug your shoulders and say, this is a losing proposition?
Yeah. Uh, it's like you're not going to kill the goose that lays the golden egg right now. But if these companies start to slip at all, I would think the next administration or the administration after that is going to come down on them. But not now. These companies have an open field to keep gobbling up other companies and playing by their own rules.
Well, that's the fear. And it's a fear because of the super close relationship between the feds and these tech companies. And I think that's a legitimate fear.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a smaller company, or even a competing company with some of these big tech giants, you're worried about the future because these guys may be protected.
On the other hand, meanwhile, a federal court, a San Francisco jury decided against, speaking of monopolistic behavior, decided against Google the next day for $425 million, which I assume is like coffee money these days to Google, but for improper, basically invasion of privacy of smartphones, taking their data, etc. Does that mean anything? I mean, Google must literally just go around to a few, petty cash boxes around the company and just take out the 425 and send it off and say thank you very much.
Yeah, it is hard to. I mean, there was a time not long ago where that kind of a fine was real money. But you know what you mentioned at the beginning, the decision that Chrome did not have to be spun off. Google stock went up that day as a market value of something like $200 billion. So you're right. Anything else is pocket change.
Yeah.
And I think the expectation that, yeah, there's going to be, if not crimes committed, violations of privacy or some of these things, but the fines are such that they really are not deterrents. And I think that's where we stand.
Why aren't juries catching on to the numbers involved and start jacking up these fines? And moreover, why isn't an invasion of privacy on smartphones worth a lot more than $400 million? It seems to me that's a major crime.
But it's not. We don't have rights to our data as nearly as much as we should. And
Yeah.
until we do, the companies can use that data with impunity. And that's a big problem. Nothing really happened one day to the next, but we gradually lost autonomy over our personal data as the social media companies got big and as smartphones got big and as all this advertising stuff got huge online. And I think we're just used to not having that privacy to the point where we joke amongst ourselves like, whoa, I just got this advertisement by something I was talking about just
Yeah.
today. And that's a scene out of a sci-fi movie
Yeah.
20
And we
years
go, oh,
ago.
big brother, big brother.
Right. And
Well,
now it's
doesn't it seem like one of the parties, hint, hint, the Democrat Party, which is in free fall right now, why don't they jump on this privacy thing? I mean, we're slowly giving up all of our rights. Now, maybe your counter would be Zoomers don't care that they're used to giving up their privacy, so it wouldn't become a thing to worry about in a presidential campaign. But older people have to be worried about this,
right.
aren't
Older people are worried, and they're worried about their kids, whether their kids are Zoomers or not. They're thinking, my kid's on social media, my kid's on their phone, and his or her data is being taken without his or her knowledge, without our knowledge, even as older people. And so it's just become, I hate to say accepted, but when I rail on this, people will nod their heads and then say, um, yeah, but I do have a Ring doorbell and I got a couple of Amazon Alexas at home. And, it's like, we're
they?
not really cracking down on our own data theft. We're kind of allowing for it to happen at the same time.
Yeah, the worst is people just say, "Oh yeah, something needs to be done,"
Right.
and then they go on with their lives.
And then they yell out in their own house, Alexa, what can I do about this?
Yeah. Well, things like this build up to a head, and eventually some event will occur that all of a sudden we'll be running around with our hair on fire because we've given up information to another country, to some organization, a malevolent organization. Something's bound to happen.
Yes. And the last time I can think of that, and maybe I'm missing something in between, but is Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. And people really got angry at that. And I just think that that's happening over and over again without people getting angry because of this gradual erosion of our concern or even awareness that this is happening. But I do remember how upset a lot of people were with Cambridge Analytica and what was going on. And I
Yeah.
can't think of anything really since then that's been as I don't know, as much in the public eye.
Yeah, and yet every week we get some notice that hackers have broken into American Express and stolen 25 million 25 million users' private data. And we go, wow, that's bigger than the last time. It's almost like we're just measuring the impact without worrying about it. Oh, they'll take care of it. I don't have anything important there.
Right.
We've
And
gotten inured to it, Scott. I mean, it's like, yeah, what the hell?
I agree. And it's something that we look at the notice and maybe check our credit, record just to see, but you're right. But also big companies, they're doing what they can. And I do appreciate that. And it is here in Silicon Valley, a gigantic industry, the
Yeah.
protection industry, the cybersecurity industry against all this hacking and phishing and all these scams, but they're out there. And part of it is, hey, good on these companies for making the software to try to protect us. But a lot of it is really on us. Okay, we know these scams are there. Let's not give them anything to take. And I know that's difficult. It's easy to sit here and say that, but part of it is our own cyber. What I've had cybersecurity people call our cyber hygiene. How clean are we? How much are we watching out for this? How are we not responding to emails and texts and social media things that we don't 100% know are really real, and we have to be aware of that.
Yeah, but it's like we're hiding in a walled castle and just we're under siege all the time. And the proper response maybe is to be on the offensive. You know, 5 years ago, Bill Davidow and I wrote in a book that the answer to a lot of this is people should own their own information and they should go through brokers if they want to sell it to all these advertisers and everything else. That would have a devastating effect on certain, tech companies, but it would give us control over what we share and not just go into an opt out to escape our stuff being collected.
Right. Look at the Reddit model. Reddit, just on the eve of its IPO, you may remember, cut a
Yeah.
deal with a lot of the AI companies saying, okay, for a lot of money, you can access Reddit.
Yeah.
And it's led to a couple of things. One, um, a lot of the AI answers that we get seem strange because they're literally taken from Reddit. So, A, what do you expect out there,
Yeah.
ChatGPT users?
Buyer
And
beware.
B, yeah, I'm a little hesitant now to go on Reddit because all my stuff, if I'm on Reddit, is given away.
Hmm.
Like I'm not making money on it, but Reddit is making on it. So Reddit was smart. They got paid. Look at their stock price. They're doing really well. But we all have to be a little more careful when we're on Reddit because we know the AI engines can grab it. And also, because it's Reddit, we have to be a little more careful about looking at the information AI gives us. So it's kind of a cycle. Reddit
Yeah.
decided we own our information, we're going to sell it. And okay, buyer beware. We as individuals are not given that opportunity. And you're
No.
right, that's too bad.
Okay. Next up, this is speaking of government, government not quite private, but independent liaison, I guess I should call it. Um, the the government's, the administration's new pick for uh, the Fed post, in case it actually, the woman sitting on it, she's been fired, but she's suing. Assuming she doesn't win the suit, the new member of the Federal Exchange Board of Governors is Stephen Miram. Okay, Stephen Miram is currently on the board of advisors to the President of the United States, and he says he's not going to quit that job, but he's going to go on a leave of absence. So, in theory, he's still working for Donald Trump, which is what we've been talking about is a violation, apparently, I thought, of the Constitution. But he's saying, oh, I won't be impacted. Of course, he'll be impacted. He's going to leave. When he leaves the Federal Reserve, he'll go back to working for the administration, assuming it's still a Republican administration. What do you think of all that?
Well, I mean, I think we're silly to even wring our hands. We know what President Trump is doing here. He's even said himself, soon we'll have a majority on the Federal Reserve. I mean, he's acting like it's the Supreme Court or something. It's the Federal Reserve. It's supposed to be independent. So should it matter that one
Was the
party has
idea. Yeah, that was the
right?
idea of the Federal Reserve.
Exactly. So he's trying to circumvent that. And he's doing it right in front of everybody. This is not a secret coup or anything. He's saying, I want my people that are loyal to me to be on the Federal Reserve. I don't want independent people on the Federal Reserve. That should chill everybody, not just people who care about an interest rate cut or whatever. It should chill everybody. And that's what he wants here.
Yeah, but I mean, this is so brash. I'm going to go on a leave of absence from the administration to cross the cross Pennsylvania to be on Pennsylvania Street to be on an avenue to be on the Federal Reserve, and then I'll still kind of be connected to the administration. I mean, there's something really wrong with that.
Yes, but again, it's not like this is being done surreptitiously or under the cover of darkness. This is the president saying, I
Yeah.
want people loyal to me, who work for me to be on the Federal Reserve Board. He's being very open about that. And we have to decide if that's okay.
Well, that'll be interesting to see if it has any effect upon the midterm elections or the next presidential election. I mean, you
Right.
could say that this coziness between supposedly independent institutions is a bad direction for this government to go, or people just won't remember. I have a feeling it's going to be the latter.
I don't know. It really depends. But
Yeah.
there is this move to put the government in position, both in tech and at the Federal Reserve, which is finance. And that's much less independent than tech used to want to be. And it's less independent than the Federal Reserve is supposed to be.
Okay, Amazon. Have you ever used the Prime Invite program?
I've used Prime.
Yeah, our family does too, but you can actually share it with people.
I think you used to be able to, yes.
Well, not as of
Right.
Next month, you won't be able to.
Right.
I didn't even know about the sharing thing, and now it's going to be gone. Apparently, Amazon didn't see any profits off of it, so it's just dropping the thing. You can still have Amazon Prime, but you can't like share it with your second cousin or something, which is the
It's like
way
what
it,
Netflix did.
yeah, just like what Netflix did.
Right.
And it's an interesting trend. I mean, they've all been trying to be expansive and get as many members as they can, users they can, and now they seem to be retracting. Is that because of the economy? It was a bad idea, or was a good recruiting idea that's now ineffective because they've gotten everybody they needed to?
I mean, I think you're right in that it was a good recruiting idea. But at some point, somebody in the finance department is saying, okay, you get one subscription, but two houses use that. And that's where you go. And so I don't know. I'll know soon how to answer this question. Because as you know, I've got college age kids who are obviously out of the house and they've been told by Netflix, hey, you know, so we'll find out if they stay loyal to Netflix on their own or if they won't because they can no longer get it for free, even in another place. We'll see.
So, are your kids on Amazon Prime too?
No,
Okay,
no, I didn't invite them for that.
good strategy
Right.
for all sorts of reasons. Okay, that's the end of the show, but I do want to mention one thing. Um, blog, what's it called? This firm that gave us an award. I had it right here in front of me, and now I can't find it.
Well,
Oh,
congratulations to you either way.
FeedSpot. FeedSpot has named us of the top 35 podcasts in the Bay Area, even though I know some on the list are from like Oregon and stuff. We are number 13 on the list of the most influential podcasts. Seeing as how you and I began literally sitting in the front seat of a pickup truck uh, with a microphone, with you holding a smartphone between us to use the microphone. We've come a long ways, baby. And we are on top of a lot of literally professional podcasts with studios and everything else. We're sort of the little engine that could. So congratulations, pal.
Hey,
let's
you
hope
too.
let's hope we make the top 10 next time around.
There you go.
And thank you, FeedSpot, for even noticing us. Uh, and that's it for now, folks. You can see Scott almost every night on NBC Bay Area and on Facebook and on X. And you can see me here because my BBC World Radio show just got closed after X number of years and 2 or 3 years of me being on it. So I'll be here next week, guaranteed now. And thank you very much. Thank you for your support, and we'll try to do even better next time. Take care. Bye bye.